My name's Emily, and I am proud to be a new graduate of the Nollau Institute, class of 2018-19. Now I'm going to share with you number one on my top 10 list of lessons learned in Nollau Institute. I think, for me, the number one lesson that I'd like to share with you would be, don't be afraid to fail. I know for me, one of the most meaningful stories in the life of Edward Nollau, who the Institute is named for, is that early in his ministry, or maybe not so early in his ministry, but regardless, he went out to the West Coast to found a mission. And unfortunately, or rather for us now, today, fortunately, that one did not work out. And he then left the West Coast after that failure and came to St. Louis, where he then was responsible for a lot of the new ministries that we envision now as healthcare and human service in the UCC. Without that failure, we wouldn't have the Nollau Institute at all. When I think about that lesson, I know for me, journeying with others who are on a path of servant leadership, we want to go all in. And we know that sometimes that looks like giving it your all, but not having that measure of success that others might think you need. But my impression now after this institute is that, in fact, that is sometimes the most important part of the ministry in our lives. The scripture that is most meaningful to me in thinking about failure for me is the lesson that St. Paul gave us when he said that God is continually reminding him, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect, not in strength, but rather in weakness." And I'm going to take you now over to my favorite image of this lesson, which is the cross. Jesus on the cross does not look like much of a success, but in fact, we know it's the most valuable victory of them all. Peace, be well, and thanks again for listening.
Hello, my name is A. Wayne Burton. I am the Chief Financial Officer for Crossroad Child and Family Services in Fort Wayne, Indiana. My topic today is servant leadership. Servant leadership has to be taken seriously in order for you to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve. This stage is an awakening in your life to where you're willing to put others in front of you, to take care of issues and concerns that is on your heart that you feel needs to be addressed in some certain time or some certain order. This is, like I said, an awakening that you want to see an injustice or wrongdoing being turned around where you can guide and lead, and it's going to be beneficial to others, and it's going to be pleasing in front of God's eyes. The one thing you have to realize with this is that being a servant leader is not just for one particular area, it's for God's kingdom. It's not just for your church, it's not just for your agency. It's to take care of those who need someone to step in for them. Just to show up, basically, and support them in whatever their endeavor is. It's something that you have to love to do. You just can't do this just to be doing it. You've got to be willing to put others in front of you to get things done. The one thing you have to consider when you're doing this is the unknown. Everything is not going to be straightforward in this endeavor. You've got to be willing to take on other people and explain the situation how you see it. You've got to be willing to show your face, to be supportive for those who need your support. Thank you.
Founded in 1965 by Reverend Dr. Culver Nelson, Beatitudes Campus is a life plan community in the heart of Phoenix that provides a wide spectrum of services for older adults. At Beatitudes, our mission commits us to a mind, body, spirit wellness model, and in 2015, the Success Matters program was developed with the aim of furthering this holistic wellness mission. Success Matters is dedicated to empowering residents to reach their fullest potential by offering proactive, individualized interventions, workshops, support groups, and classes to promote well-being and help residents live their lives to the fullest. Nearly 4 years later, Success Matters has worked one-on-one with hundreds of residents, touched the lives of countless other residents and community members through courses, presentations, and staff trainings, and developed collaborative partnerships with local healthcare universities and providers to promote and improve the field of aging services in the Phoenix Valley area. Both personally and professionally, the role of Director of Success Matters has been an ideal fit for me. As an occupational therapist, my profession's goal is to enable people of all ages and abilities to do the things they want and need to do, mind, body, and spirit, through holistic interventions and health education. Personally, my values are deeply rooted in my UCC upbringing, and I'm therefore committed to social justice issues and inclusion advocacy. The role of Director of Success Matters has provided me with a unique opportunity to experience a harmony of personal, professional, and organizational values at Beatitudes campus. However, it has been my Nollau experience that has allowed me to more fully recognize, explore, and conscientiously cultivate these interwoven principles within the context of servant leadership. Through the lens of servant leadership, my role as a practitioner, as a staff member, and as a person have evolved from a set of values and practices into a unifying mission that serves to inform and guide my ideals and goals, not only as Director of Success Matters at Beatitudes campus, but in life.
Wakichusa Wawashi, servant leadership. Haumitakiapi. Chante washte nape chiuzape. Zuya washte emachiape. Greetings, friends and relatives. My name is Good Warpath Woman, and I greet you all today with a hearty handshake and good spirits. My maiden name is Fullbear. I come from the Standing Rock Sioux Indian Reservation here in North Dakota, and I grew up in Fort Yates. I'm Tomi Cimarosti, and I'm the Director of Residential Services for Charles Hall Youth Services in Bismarck, North Dakota. From a very young age, growing up as a Dakota woman, it is our responsibility to take care of the children and the elderly. They are considered sacred. This does not mean that everybody is not a sacred being. It just means that these two particular populations are the closest to the Creator, and we are to take care of them, so that the next generation is not only taken care of, but they can thrive. Because this belief was so deeply ingrained in me, I came to Charles Hall Youth Services back in 2005. Charles Hall Youth Services is a faith-based nonprofit organization in Bismarck, North Dakota, serving at-risk youth ages 10 through 19 years of age. One of the many issues that we covered throughout our journey with Nollau is that ultimately at the end of the day we are serving a bigger purpose. If we're staying true to our mission, our goals, our values, our standards of practice, and ultimately our purpose, there's not a whole lot that can go wrong. The teachings that I have received during this journey with Nollau, I can say for a fact that I have found even more tools and even more teachings and guidances in how to continue to lead the agency that I currently lead alongside my team.
We definitely are a family at Charles Hall Youth Services, not only for the kids, but for the staff as well, everybody.
I also cannot put into words how thankful I am for our staff at Charles Hall Youth Services.
It is so fulfilling to work with these kids because they hold on so tightly to every bit of joy that you can give them.
In closing, there is not a single thing that we couldn't do together if we all simply treated each other as if we were all sacred beings. Sacred beings of Jesus, of God, whatever entity you believe in. There's nothing we couldn't do together.